Okay, I've had some questions come up recently, particularly from the Kriya Yoga webinar that we've been doing. And one of them is in relation to the Om technique, listening to hearing the Om vibration when you're meditating. Now, what is this? Well, essentially, it's learning to give your awareness and your attention to an actual experience of Om. So not just chanting it, but actually hearing it. And you've probably heard this before. If you've been in a deep meditation or a very quiet room, sometimes when you're in a church or a place where meditations have happened, a sacred space, it's easier to hear this sound. And what does it sound like? It sounds at first like a constant tone or frequency, sometimes a high-pitched sound within the ears. And again, it's stronger either after meditation or in a place where meditations happened often, or a church or a sacred site. I hear it often when I wake up early in the morning around 4 a.m. It seems to be easier to hear it for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the earth is just quieter then. But point being, how do you hear this sound? Well, if you don't just automatically hear it, what can be helpful is to meditate first. So doing Kriya Pranayama, deep mantra meditation, any kind of meditation practice that really gets you centered and internalized and balances the nervous system. So I like to do alternate nostril breathing for 12 to 24 rounds. And then I followed up with either Sushumna breathing, which we've covered in previous videos, or the Kriya Pranayama techniques, again, which we've covered in previous videos. And what I found is after I've gone through that practice, my nervous system is calmer, quieter, and as long as the environment around me is fairly quiet, I start to hear this sound. And it takes a while to be able to listen to the Om vibration, at least well, because it's so subtle. So it's really the simplest technique, what I consider to be the best technique, but also the hardest technique because it is so simple. But what do? You've gone through your practice, or you're sitting in a sacred space and you hear this sound, this frequency or tone in your head, or however you like to relate to it. And you just ask, you inquire, what is behind this sound? Or even what is this sound? Any kind of question that allows you to fully bring your awareness to the sound. And what you'll find is the longer you can hold your attention on that sound, inquiring what's behind it, going into the sound, fully identifying with it, it'll start to change. Maybe the frequency of the tone will start to wobble, or maybe it'll start to sound like the buzzing of many bees, or a tone. Sometimes it sounds like the tone of a flute playing, a consistent tone of a flute. Again, these are all things that yogis have related it to. But in time, it doesn't matter how it changes for you. It'll get deeper. You'll become aware of less of your body, less of your mind, and more of this sound. And eventually, as you go deeper and deeper into the sound, it'll sound like the roaring of an ocean. Or if you've ever taken a seashell and put it up to your ear, that sound, it gets louder and louder until that's all you are aware of is this vastness, this roar. And this is said to be a manifestation of the Om vibration. And by listening to it, merging in it, figuring out how to do that on your own, that connects you directly to the Godhead, Ishvara, as they say in the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. And that is a direct route to a superconscious state, to samadhi. But again, it takes preparation, it takes a strong body, a clear mind, a balanced nervous system, so that you can stay upright and poised, relaxed, yet alert as you listen and go deeper into the sound. And the best way to approach it is to do it slowly, meaning after your meditation, maybe you'd say, I'm going to sit for 2 minutes and try to hear this sound. Just 2 minutes. And then maybe as weeks go by, you say, okay, I'm going to sit a little bit longer. And eventually, as your capacity to sit with the sound grows, you'll be able to go deeper into it. But don't get frustrated if it comes and it goes, or you fall asleep, or you lose consciousness. You really have to be in such a space that you can hold your attention there. And that takes training, And that takes dedication and that takes practice, which is why a lot of people never get the benefit of listening to the Om vibration, because it's not something obvious and it's slippery. It comes and it goes. If you've ever tried to do it, you'll hear it for a little bit and then it goes away, or you'll hear it really strong and then it goes away. And so to really keep your awareness on it takes patience and concentration, but it's well worth it. This is probably one of my favorite techniques to do. And what you'll find is that once you can start to hear the Om vibration and your eyes are closed, you also begin to hear, or not hear, but see light within the spiritual eye center. The actual light of the spiritual eye center. Not a brain-produced phenomena where you see colors or geometric shapes, but an actual radiant light like the sun. And again, that requires the capacity to be calm and internalized, to sit quietly, to be awake and alert, yet watchful and relaxed. The key is the relaxation. You have to let the nervous system relax, which is what meditation is good for. But you also have the capacity to not fall asleep as you relax, because that's what most people do. So these two things go together, inner light and sound contemplation. And you need to start small, listen a little bit at a time, and then make it your goal, despite whatever frustrations arise as you try, to keep trying, to keep giving your awareness to it, to just listen, let everything go, but that faint sound that you hear, and then ask, how can I go deeper into it? What is behind the sound? And then wait, listen, take your time, and eventually it'll just come on like the roaring of an ocean. At least that's how I experience it. Other people have described it that way as well. But it overwhelms all of your senses and you're aware of nothing else. So you'll know when you're really in it, when you just have this sensation that you are that sound. And then again, when you're there, you want to keep your consciousness about you and you want to inquire, what is beyond that? Because that is how you break through to the Godhead, samadhi states, infinite consciousness. You can have samadhi with divine sound, but you also want to go beyond that. What is beyond that? Until there's nothing else beyond. And that can't be described. That's something that you have to experience on your own. And it's not something you can even talk about with someone, but you know it when you've had it. There's no doubt. There's no, did I experience it? Was that it? No, you know. Okay. So anyway, hopefully this will help you considering how to hear the inner sound current, the Om vibration. And this is something that's covered in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Again, the book Kriya Yoga, Continuing the Lineage of Enlightenment. That's a book that I wrote, and it has a commentary on the sutras, and it talks about this. So, enjoy the practice, contemplate, see how you can use this information to go deeper into your meditation practice. Be patient with yourself, and in time you'll develop the capacity to be able to easily hear the Om vibration and to merge in it at will. Okay, so we'll be in touch soon, and I think there's a few other questions I need to answer, but I'll make those videos later on. So be well, and thank you very much.